Well, it's been a little bit, but good morning again. Daniel Valdez again. Pleasure and honor to talk to you. Doesn't matter where you're listening. Appreciate the support. We got to talk about region contests that are coming up soon because I don't know, it's the only thing to talk about. But uh, some not necessarily causes for concern, but there's going to be, I think we're starting to get a bigger picture, clearer view of what the rest of the season is going to look like. And we've been warned over and over again that it's going to look very different. It's going to feel very different. There's no more evidence of that than who is currently signed up for region contests. The deadlines, I don't know if you know this, but the deadlines for region contests are coming up very, very soon. Some of them have already passed. Now, it's not necessarily to say, a couple of disclaimers. Sometimes these contest deadlines are done like a month in advance. So just because you had a deadline coming up this week or next week doesn't mean that the contest is going to be a couple of days later. Most of these things are taking place in the middle of November, but the deadlines are coming up. Some of them have already passed. Some of the deadlines are coming up next week and the week after. So there's that. Region contest. We're starting to see who's going to try to make this work. There are a few cases where a program is going to go to region contest. They'll get their evaluation. And I hesitate to call it region contest. As always, try to remind people, it's not a contest. You're not competing against other programs. You are competing essentially against yourself and the sheets, the judge sheets. It's an evaluation. You get a rating, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 1 being the highest, 5 being the lowest, and you get your sweepstakes or your Division 1, and that's it. You're going to see some programs, not very many, but you're going to see some programs that are going to go to region contest. They'll get their Division 1 rating, and then they'll say, okay, well, we're done. We're going to focus on football or whatever else we have planned this season for the rest of the fall, and that's all we're going to do. Like I said, not very many cases of that, but you're starting to see that with programs that originally said, okay, we're not going to compete, but we're leaving the door open for a possible region, a possible experience at region where we go, we compete, we get our one, and then we go home. We're already starting to see, going through the region websites, going through the area websites as well, you're going to start to see policies and procedures, guidelines for contest flow and stuff like that. We're already seeing in a couple of regions, the word contactless is starting to come up a lot. If coronavirus is the word of 2020, the word contactless is a solid silver medalist in that regard. I've seen some regions where they are essentially pleading with programs, hey, don't plan on being in the stands. Don't plan on watching anybody else. Don't plan on hanging around the stadium after your performance. Show up, get off the bus, go to warm-up, go to the stadium, do your performance, get off the field, sign out of the contest. Yes, you have to sign out of the contest at a UIL event, and go home. No hanging around the stadium, no sitting in the back stands, no sitting in the front stands, no wristbands, nothing like that. Get out, go home, be safe, be responsible. Starting to see that in some regions, starting to see that in areas. Area C has it on their website where they're asking programs plan on going home afterwards. Remember, there's no retreats. There's no full band retreats for finals or anything like that. Not even at the state contest. That stuff is gone. As far as drum major retreats go, that's probably going to be, I haven't seen anything solid from the UIL perspective. That may be just down to the areas themselves. I don't think we're going to be looking at a situation where you're going to have drum majors lined up all across the field close together. I mean, with the way the region list looks so far, and the regions that are associated with the areas that would qualify people to the state contest, it looks dramatically different than when it would be, or what it was on a normal year. A normal year, you have pretty much every single 6A program in the state of Texas. They've signed up, they're ready to go. Where do we go? Let's go to region, let's do this, let's do that. Their paperwork's turned in. looking through the lists, looking through who signed up through the region contest, it's very different. Very, very different. A lot of big name programs have chosen to not go the competitive route this year. Some big name programs have chosen to go the competitive route this year. Everybody's in a different situation. Everybody has a different philosophy for it. And, to each their own. Like I said, it's going to be very different. The region contests, again, it's not a contest. It's an evaluation. Very few programs will go to region contest and then stop after that. Most of everybody who's attending region contest is going to try to see this thing out. And there's some programs that are not going that route at all. So you kind of have three separate camps here of what programs want to do this season. It's going to be very interesting. As of right now, it looks like Area C and Area I have the most participants from their respective regions that are going to try to see this thing out. Area contests are done very differently from area to area as far as performance draw and stuff like that. We'll get into that when the time comes. Keep in mind, area contest is it's December 5th. It's October middle right now. I don't know what date it is. I don't care. It's a month and a half away. There's a lot that can happen positively. There's a lot that can happen negatively. So flexibility and cooperation is still paramount. I know schools and programs are dealing with various degrees of how to handle the coronavirus stuff. Some schools are doing okay. Some schools are not doing okay. And it's concerning nonetheless because this thing is very much a day-to-day thing. And it's going to be like that the rest of the year. At least the rest of the year. So we're going to see how that goes. So yeah, Area C and Area I, they have a lot of participants so far. As we know, and if you haven't heard, Area A out in West Texas, El Paso, Area A marching contest has been canceled due to lack of participation. Something that's a little bit concerning is Area G, because as of right now, officially, and I mean officially, not, hey, my son in the band said they're going to region contest. It's not that I don't believe you. It's just I want to see the forms. I can't see them specifically, but there is a website where anybody can go and get all that stuff and get that information of who signed up. Area G doesn't have any participants right now. Not as officially through the website that the programs are supposed to sign up through. Area G contest, no participants right now. Now, their deadline is in another week or two. That could change. They may be waiting, and that's something I'm kind of wanted to get to. Probably thinking, why wouldn't a program turn in their stuff now? Why wouldn't they turn it in, if they decided to go do contests, why would they not turn it in July or August or September? You have all these months where you've been working on stuff. Why wouldn't they send their stuff in? Again, this is very much a day-to-day process. It's a day-to-day process. So things are going to change on a daily basis, and I don't blame programs for waiting until the last minute to submit paperwork, because it doesn't make too much sense in a situation where it's going day to day. I can understand why. I'll amend that. I can understand why programs would want to wait until the very last minute, because it's a day-to-day thing. We don't know what's going to happen, and they have to send off fees and dues and stuff like that in order to pay for the contest, to go to region contest, because there are fees and dues associated with it. It varies by region. And then area contests, there's a whole other structure for that. But, with lack of fundraising and programs really, and I mean really, some of the stories I've heard are pretty incredible, with programs really trying to limit their expenses, not just with the marching show, but, just operating, going to the football game and, expenses that go along with that, and limited, if not all, fundraising opportunities being decimated by the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of programs may not want to put up that $350 until it's absolutely necessary that they have to do it. That was just an example. But I can understand why programs would hesitate to go and put down money for a region contest, not knowing if they're going to be allowed to go or they're going to be able to go, whether the district allows them to go, or whether the program is going to say, you know what, maybe it's not the best idea. So we'll see how that goes. Again, region contests are going to start happening pretty soon. The deadlines are coming up faster than you think. And I can tell you right now, if you had to force me to make any sort of projection as far as the guidelines that are set forth with how the selection, how you qualify for state contests or the area contest, if those rules don't change, and I'm not saying they will or won't, but I mean, again, everything's on the table. I wouldn't put it past UIL to say, hey, we're going to amend the rules this year to allow more programs from an area contest to go to state because of the lack of participation that we're getting this year. But if the rules stay true and the participation doesn't increase a whole lot within the next couple of weeks about who's going to go to region and who's going to try to advance forward to area and state, you're probably looking at about 30 bands to state contest. And even then, it might even be less. And that may be a little bit shocking to hear, but with what I'm seeing, with the participation, like Area C and Area I, it almost looks like business as normal. But as of right now, I mean, there are plenty of areas that have very limited participation as of right now. Now, keep in mind, big disclaimer, this is not anything official just yet. Like, okay, they're locked in, there's only going to be 4 bands at an area contest. No. There's still time to send stuff in. Again, it varies by region. Some of them have, the deadlines just vary by region. And UIL's only stipulation is, hey, get your region contest done by this date. I think it's sometime in like late November or early December. Like, get your region contest done by then. We don't care what you do. It's entirely up to you. You can have it Tuesday morning. You can have it on a Thursday afternoon. You can have it on Saturday evening if you want, whatever. That's the only guideline they have. The region contest, area contest, they handle, that's done at a very local level in terms of UIL speak. As far as regions combining contests to save space or time or money, I haven't really seen any of that. Area contests, not so much. I don't think there's any areas that are going to combine, like area B and C are not going to, I don't think they're going to combine contests where, area B marching contest is in the morning and area C contest is in the afternoon. I don't think that's going to happen. But what you will see is you will probably see conferences being combined for area. You're probably going to be looking at, I think area D, their 4A and their 6A contest are going to be at the same facility. Now, they're not competing against each other. The 4As are going to stick with 4As, the 6As are going to stick with the 6As. But they're probably going to have them on the same day, just because there's going to be lack of participation. You might even see a case where some 4A when you go to area contest, you might even see a case or two where the 4A contest is going to have more participants than the 6A contest, because you're talking about two very different philosophies. You're talking about two very different situations with the coronavirus. When you go from a large school to a 4A school where there's not that many kids that go there and they're in rural areas or whatever. So it's going to be very interesting. But region's coming up. It's coming up quicker than you think. We need to prepare for it. You need to kind of prepare for yourself, to prepare that, there may not be that many programs trying to make this happen. And I completely understand that. It's very much it's a byproduct of the pandemic we're going through. So I'm done here. It's not necessarily like I never try to be alarmist or anything like that, but you're looking at it's going to be a little shocking. You're going to go to some of these region contests if you're allowed to go. I mean, that's another thing. Region, we're going to have to see and that's going to vary by region, if you're going to be allowed to attend a region contest. And if so, you're probably going to have a mask. You're probably going to have to socially distance. And the last thing the UIL needs is to have these region contests goes out. And remember, there's like 32 regions in this state. Last thing UIL needs is to have region contests and then, a couple of them have outbreaks because of whatever reason. That ain't gonna be good. And by the way, people have asked me recently, do you think this whole thing, this whole UIL state thing is going to happen? It would have to take something pretty catastrophic for this not to happen. If we're at this point, we're in the middle of October. I think UIL goes through this thing. Now, if there's something catastrophic, of course that could change, but I would think something very, very devastating would have to happen in order for UIL to not see this through. So we'll see how it goes. Again, it's a day-to-day thing. I'm urging parents of band members. I'm urging band members themselves. I'm urging everybody to please stay safe. Please stay positive in your spirits and just try to see this whole thing out. And if you are, if you're just doing non-competitive stuff, you're just doing football games, try to support those who are trying to see the season through as best as possible, because it's tough on everybody. Nobody's having an ideal season right now. I can promise you that. With Zoom classes and classroom indoors or at home and doing everything virtually, and then having to separate and come together and then separate and do whatever. It's tough on everybody. Nobody's having an ideal season. And I think I talked about this with someone the other day. As far as momentum goes, it's almost like you have to kind of throw out last year in terms of trying to predict what's going to happen this year. And everybody's lost their momentum. I don't care if you've had your whole design team back or whatever, or your director stayed or anything like that, your tech stayed, whatever. Nobody has any momentum. The coronavirus pandemic kind of put everybody on or at least for a little bit of time, on an even playing field. So we're kind of all they all kind of started at the starting line at the same time. Not just figuratively, but mentally and emotionally as well. So it's really anybody's game. I don't really like to talk about numbers and stuff like that. I don't really do that, but that's kind of where we are now. Everybody was kind of on the same playing field because everybody's doing Zoom classes and all this sort of stuff. Then as school started opening up or started closing down, or depending on the situation, now we kind of, it's just a different situation for everybody, and it's so hard to even predict this season competitively. But in any case, we'll do our best. We'll keep going, and I'm done here. Please stay safe. Please stay vigilant. Stay focused. Don't lose focus. I know it's difficult, especially in areas where the numbers get better, because this thing is a day-to-day thing. It ain't going away, unfortunately. And I know that a lot of band members want to try to have as full a season as possible. So let's do our best to make that happen. I'm done here. I'm going to talk to you next week, hopefully. And, just take care of yourselves. I'm done. Good night. What do I usually say? Oh, yeah. It's been a bit. Take care. Adios. Bye-bye.